How's your dad? What?
Well, he's sleeping. Totally. But
Freddie.
Yeah, Freddie back, yeah, Freddie back, a couple years ago. Okay, real quick here, guys, if I may have your attention real quick. First of all, I just want to say, beyond a doubt, thank you, thank you, thank you for coming back here and making this night as special as it's going to be. I mean, we are honored beyond belief to have you people here. From my point of view, 58 guys, you guys are great fans of UDA basketball. I mean, I wasn't born when you guys were there. But from what I've read about you, 14-0 in the league, Wiccanisco, big games with Wiccanisco, big rivalry with them. Williamstown, you won 2-0 on a forfeit because they took their team off the court. Very odd, very strange, what happened back in your year. But 14-0 in the league, 21-3, I believe you ended up. Gordy's third and final year at Lycans. After that year, he jumped over to UD Joint and won some championships there for UD Joint then. But we are so glad to have you guys from 58 here. But I you know, besides living in Lycans and growing up in Lycans, I don't have much connection to you guys. 78 team, I hope I don't cry talking right now, because quite honestly, you guys were my heroes. When I was in 6th grade, I used to come watch you guys put the damn pinstripe things on those remember those? And wish for some day to be you guys. As a little 6th grader, Carl Bach used to run, you know, a little thing for us here. And Carl would say, get to the games and stuff. And that's my earliest recollection. Probably came to games before that. But the 78 team, I loved you guys. I wanted to be Steve Roadcap. Because I was a point guard. I wanted to be, you know, I couldn't be Jen Myers. I wasn't that tall. But the point is, you guys, I can't believe, right now, this is an out-of-body experience for me, to, in 2007, be standing here and talking to you guys as the head coach of Upper Dauphin is unbelievable to me. And that's how life goes. You just go with things, and it's funny how life turns out. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here. You're making my night, by far. Behind me we have our players this here. We have an assistant coach, Wade Kessler. He's our 7th grade coach, helps out with stats here at our games. Matt Gessner is our point guard, and you'll watch him here. He's our engine. He runs the train here, and he's been doing pretty darn good. He's trying to get to 1,000 points, and he's hopefully going to. How many of you guys are 1,000-point scorers? 1,000-point scorers? Is that it? Just the answer? Yeah. And like 1,400 rebounds.
Jay wouldn't pass the ball to anybody else.
He wouldn't pass. Yeah.
It's Roadcap's fault. He kept passing it.
Hey, single season assist record holder.
Most in a season, or most in a game. He almost broke it last year. What was his record? 16, he had 15, and we didn't know it. We weren't, and we took him out in the 4th quarter. We didn't know it, and otherwise your record is in 10. Okay. We got Jason Green here. His dad's Don Green, lives in Elizabethville here. By the way, Matt Gessner's dad is lumber yard, Gessner Lumber. We have this guy here is Jamie Lyne. He's from England. He's an exchange student we have this year, and he starts for us. It's unbelievable. We've been blessed with an exchange student that has game. This is Joel Coons' kid, Jared. He's a senior this year. Joel Coons' boy, he's an assistant coach for us, Joel. We have Anson Moore. He's a transplant from Harrisburg. He came in about 7th grade or so. Anson Moore, he's a starter for us. David Gritti is from Italy. And again, an exchange student who starts for us. People say, oh, you're recruiting. Yeah, my budget doesn't allow me to go to Europe. But maybe to, you know, muckle rats or something, but, you know. So we have David Gritti with us here also entering this year. We have Alex Pianovich. His dad is Alex Pianovich, a dentist from Lycans. Paul, I'm sorry, his dad's Paul. His grandpa is Alex. So there we go, was your dentist. There you have it. That's our team. So yeah, that's our team this year. For you guys here, I'm tickled pink. We have Dale Huffman here. Dale's from Millersburg. His son's Clayton. You guys know him. Dale is a warehouse manager in Millersburg. You have Jan Myers. I told you guys the stories about him and so forth. Naval Academy, now making wine in Sonoma, California, or Yep, Sonoma, California, and so forth. We are so glad that you flew in. Paul Beitler lives in Camp Hill. I'm not sure what you're doing.
As little as possible.
As little as possible. Paul Huffman's retired from Rife and Nestor, I think, or which one? Alpha LaBelle. Paul Huffman, and that's Rich, it's uncle of Dale and Rich. Jim Welker back here, UDA #1 fan. He has it on his license plate. That's what it says, UDA #1 fan. Harold Snyder is Autumn and Brooke Snyder's grandpa. You guys would know them from, these three are the Likens guys here. And Steve, of course, you guys know him, baseball coach, so forth. Mr. Hain, you guys have seen him many times. Dave Altman, we are so glad that you are here. We were worried that you weren't going to make it, and that would have made my night as complete. So I'm so glad that you're here. That's Zach Markle's uncle. Zach Markle. Rod Kitchen lives in Millersburg also. And you and Cooper started everyone off and on.
Back and forth.
Back and forth. Steve Roadcap is currently a manager of the Philadelphia Phillies farm team, single A team in New Jersey. But you've also coached other places too, all over the place. Yep. Bob Mattis does undercover surveillance for the Attorney General's office. He's a electronic eavesdropper, I would say, right? Correct? Yep. Ed Cooper, you guys see him around fixing everything that you guys break in school. Ed's been doing maintenance here at the school. That's where he's been working here lately. Andrew Diddy thought up of the idea. He's a Upper Dauphin graduate, never played the game, but has always been around and just loves Upper Dauphin. Came to me with this idea 4 years ago. Why don't we invite back, we've had 37 championships. Why don't we invite back everybody? And so I said, yeah, okay, let's go with it. And we looked up all your addresses, which was hard to find for some of you, but we got you here tonight, and we are so blessed. The 78 team, 26-4. 26-4, and district champions. Not only league champions, but district champions. And I remember going to the farm show to watch these against Eddie Gajewski's Northwest team there, and the guy is now. Did you get hurt in that game? A hip pointer or something, or what?
Yeah, hip and back.
Hip and back, whatever. Did you finish the game, or did you? No, I didn't think so, because he only had 13 points, and that was probably only through a quarter or two. So, unfortunately, you guys had that injury, and thus your season was stopped short there. But league champs, district champs, you beat Camp Hill at Elizabethtown College, I believe. Is that where it was? I think so. I think you won at Elizabethtown College. It's on your thing there, I'm pretty sure. E-Town College, and came so close to being our first state champion. What we're going to do here is, oh yeah, Gordy. I wanted to tell you, he's there. Gordy's not doing well. He's been hospitalized and then out, and hospitalized and out. He lives in a Masonic home in E-Town. He's been having intestinal problems, and so much so that his medication that he's taking right now just makes a mess of things. So he can't be here tonight, but he sends his best wishes, and he wishes, yeah, he gives the thumbs up. He's been here, for you guys that haven't, he's been here every year, and he loves it. And he can't speak well and so forth, but he loves being around. He recognizes everyone and so forth, but he sends his best, and he said, I hope to be here next year. So we hope he is too, but that's the way that goes. So anyway, what we're going to do is go through the locker room, and if we have time, you can peek your head in the team room and see we have all your pictures lined up from every year from the jointure, not the 58 guys, but from the jointure all the way around. So every time we're in the team room, before practice and before games, we're surrounded by you guys. We take that very seriously, that you guys have set the standard and that we carry the torch into the future. So it's something that we take very seriously, and not all these schools that we play have tradition like we have here. So we're very honored to have you guys here, and we want to honor you. Don't forget, afterwards we have a reception in the cafeteria. Okay, we have a lot of little nitpicking food and all kinds of stuff. You can sit around and talk as long as you want. So please stay for that, okay? Also, for those of you who are around for the weekend and still can lace them up, on Monday at noon, the alumni guys are scrimmaging our varsity at noon on Monday. If anybody wants to lace them up and come in and or just shoot around on the side, just watch if you want to. Noon, you are cordially invited, Christmas Eve, high noon. So If anybody's sticking around, feel free to come in and play with us. Okay, tonight's game, we have a tough game. I don't know who scheduled this, me. But Minersville's tough. Physical, I mean, they're Schuylkill League team, very, very physical and skilled. Big guys inside that can score, and perimeter snipers that are tough. Sticky man-to-man defense right in your chest. So it's gonna be tough for us. It's gonna be a tough game, but hey, there's no fun at all by winning easy ones. Last night we had an easy one. Eastern Indiana, we could have named our score. But, yeah, it was fun. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah. But we won easily, and tonight, if we win, it won't be easy. How much? Minute and a half. Good. So what you're going to see here is hopefully a win, but like I said, competition is pretty tough. Yep.
Did you let them know we're in first place?
Yeah, we are in first place. So,
Fortunes really turned in a week, didn't they?
What's that?
Your fortunes really turned in the last week.
Yes, and last week, we had lost a tough one to Millersburg and came back and got ourselves in a position where now we're in first place and a chance to win and come back 10 years from now and invite the Italian and the Englishman back across the old pond to enjoy it and so forth. So anyway, let's go. Coop, if you want to lead them into the locker room.
If they come on
Hey, you're going in alphabetical order. Alphabetical order. That's for John. Oh, is that yours? Okay, that's what I have. Oh, that's John.
Can I leave my jacket?
The only 2 games we lost.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yep.
If anybody sees John Simmons out there.
That was Frank Snyder.
Last night,
Yeah.
some family, let's go Britain, let's go Britain. I didn't know they're young for a long time.
Tonight to remember championship celebration. Tonight the roundball club asks you to join us. We turn back the clock to take a look back and remember the championship teams. Vikings, UD Trojans, and UDA, whose season ended with an 8. Next year we plan to honor the championship teams that end with a 9, and so on until all 37 championship teams are honored for a 10-year period of time. This year we remember the Vikings championship team of 1958 and the UDA championship team of 1978. So without further ado, let's take a look back at the following league champions. Go back to 1958. Dwight D. Eisenhower serving his 2nd term as President of the United States. The U.S. launches its first of many satellites into outer space. Jerry Lee Lewis and Chuck Berry are flooding the airwaves. The New York Yankees beat the Milwaukee Braves to win the World Series. And the Huckleberry Hound Show premieres on television. Back in Lincoln, the boys basketball team wins the 14th of its 18 Upper Dolphin League championships. This is the 3rd last year of Coach Gordon Foster's head coaching experience at Lincoln. As the next year he will become head coach at Upper Dolphin Joint High School. With an overall record of 21-3, the team went 14-0 to claim the championship. The most memorable games were the 1-point victories over Millersburg in overtime and over Wickenisco to secure the championship. Leading scorers were Joe McGovern at 25 points per game, Kent Turby at 22 points per game, James Huffman, Paul Huffman, and the late James Spangler. Representing the team tonight are 3 of the members of this team who are celebrating the 50th anniversary of this championship. Let's meet him. First, a retired employee of Rice and Nestor, Mr. Harold Snyder of Lincoln. Next, a big fan of UDA basketball and a retired welder from Alpha Laval, Paul Huffman of Loyalton. And another big fan of UDA basketball, his license plate says UDA fan and a retired employee of Rice and Nestor, Jim Welker of Lincoln. Now we go to 1978. Jimmy Carter is in his 2nd year as President of the United States. The Camp David Accords are signed between Israel's Menachem Begin and Egypt's Anwar Sadat. The first Susan B. Anthony Dollar enters circulation. Premiering on television are hit shows Dallas, Taxi, Morgan Mindy, WKRP in Cincinnati, Different Strokes. Also in the movie theaters, Grease and Animal House are released. The New York Yankees beat the LA Dodgers to win the World Series. The Dallas Cowboys beat the Denver Broncos to win the Super Bowl. And the Bee Gees and the Village People and the soundtrack from Grease are flooding the airwaves. Back at Upper Rockland Area High School, the boys basketball team has won the league championship for the 9th time since the merger of Vikings and UD Trojans. They won the Upper Rockland League 6 times. This year's championship was the 3rd and final Mid-State League title by going undefeated with a perfect 17-0 record. The biggest games that year were against the other powerhouses of the area, Millersburg and Williams Valley. Upper Rockland won the overall league championship by beating Newport 62-37 at Halifax. They won the district championship by beating Campbell 66-61 at Elizabethtown College. They ended their great season at the Farm Show Arena by falling to Pennsylvania legend Eddie Gajewski's Northwest team 64-59 in the 3rd round of the state playoffs. Leading scorers that year were Jan Myers at 23 points per game, Dave Altman at 12 points per game, Bob Mattis at 10 points per game, Steve Roadcap at 10 per game, Nate Cooper at 6 per game, and Rod Kitchen at 5 per game. The team was coached by Gordy Foster and assisted by Tom Haynes and Steve Klinger. Representing the team tonight are 9 members of the team who are celebrating the 30th anniversary of their championship. Let's meet them. First, the regional plate manager for PMA Insurance from Halifax, Dave Alden. The receiving supervisor in MI Windows and Doors and the current JV coach of the Upper Rockland Area Boys Basketball Team, David An employee of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Mr. Paul Beitler of Camden. Maintenance technician for the Upper Rockland Area School District and current 6th grade basketball coach, Ed Cooper of Elizabethtown. The warehouse manager, Mr. Dale Huffman of Millersburg. A warehouse supervisor at Dayton Parks, Rod Kitchen of Millersburg. A supervisor in the technical services unit at the Attorney General's office in Harrisburg, Bob Mattis of Union Advisors. A former naval aviator for 20 years, and current winemaker at Keller Estates in Sonoma, California, Jan Myers of California. Currently a minor league manager at the Philadelphia Phillies organization, Steve Roadcap of Bellevue, West Virginia.
Thanks so much.
Assistant coach of the 78 team, a retired special ed teacher of Upper Rockland Area and head baseball coach at UDA for many years, Steve Klinger of Higgins. is suffering from the medication being used to treat his intestinal problem, but he does send his best and hopes to join us next year. The Upper Wilson Area Roundball Club would like to thank all the players and coaches who returned tonight. You are all heroes that show our current team what dedication, teamwork, and an all-for-one and one-for-all attitude can accomplish. The Roundball Club would like to invite everyone into the high school cafeteria following the varsity game to socialize with the champions being honored here tonight. There are so many more stories that could have been told, but we have a game to play, so please join us in the high school cafeteria. The Roundball Club would like to sincerely thank Jerry Pinkerton for compiling all the history and statistics for Lycans High School and Lycans Legion for loaning us the Lycans High School trophies that you see here tonight. Also, we would like to say a sincere thank you to Tom Haynes for retyping Mr. Pinkerton's statistics and for compiling all the history and statistics for the UDA boys basketball. Mr. Haynes' work is found in the handout that you received at the door. Thank you to Assistant Coach Andrew Jenny for coming up with this idea of a night to remember. And thank you to Head Coach Mike Conlon for all his hard work in making this idea a reality. Thank you to the Minersville coaches, players, and fans for affording us the time to conduct our fourth annual Night to Remember. There have been 37 championships won in our storied history that we will be remembering for a 10-year span. Next year, we will be honoring the Legends champions of 1939 and 1959, as well as the UDA champions of 1969. One final note, join the special pregame music. The boys will be warming up to 2 songs from 1958, 3 songs from 1970. Thank you and enjoy your evening.
We're up in the cafeteria now where the scene has changed to a light refreshments being served here to the champions from 58 and 78. Not a big crowd here tonight as the champion 2 teams brought back about a dozen players, I guess, or maybe a few more than that. But still a nice thing to have. And the Trojans are to be commended for the way they set this up. Cookies and snacks like that, perhaps. I didn't look at the line, but I think there's generally cookies, maybe fudge, which is always delicious over there. And some more people will be joining us here now as we just look around here and get a little bit of a sense of what it's like here at one of these Night of Champions. We'll just take a few pictures around now and see if anyone cares to say anything regarding tonight's ball game win. A big win over Minersville. The Trojans didn't expect to play exactly that well against Minersville, I don't believe. We've been playing very well lately. But, boy, tonight, you know, in our pregame thing there that you noticed, Coach Calnon saying that, well, you know, he don't know who gets these games together because this was going to be a tough one. Well, the Trojans come out and really took charge early and made a liar out of Coach Calnon. Anyway, I'm sure he is very, very pleased, and the team is pleased, and we surely have a good bunch of people here now, former champions and perhaps the new champions. We don't know. Early in the league yet, but we'll see.
had great matches. There was a lot of stories out about other bad things.
Yeah, we have running water, we have something, finally got it.
I just died.
He's moved out of it.
They still return. Hi, Pop.
Hi.
You were on the line.
I know, I was hoping I didn't know whether to say it to you. I'll do a half one. I don't they play at Dalmatia or I'm going to sign there. And then you go take pictures and then keep doing that.
Yeah, no, I don't.
one guy wasn't this guy was on the inside. Came up to the other side. And Joe was in there, this guy doing something else. So I thought I'm gonna no, we don't want to. He on the nose with his elbow. So the rest of the game, I'm drilling blood on the floor. And not really got paid like 6-4.
When you guys went up to play for Everett and then they came down here to play us and that was the year after the graduation year. In that game, it was almost Joe against the whole big we were. Ken and I would rebound some most of the time, but against them, I felt lost. I was, and it was Joe. Joe was like 6 o'clock, and they were all bigger than him. And he just cleared them. Joe was one of the best players.
I guess I should go see him. Tell me right now.
No, you're there. No.
No, I'm not going to tell you. Just what I think.
Is it one of your own personal opinions?
For us, if it's outside, back out.
Hey, no public interviews tonight, okay, please?
I'll play fast break. As soon as someone would shoot from the outside on the other team, Steve Roadcap would be taking 3 steps towards the half court. See if I got the ball. If I got the ball, he was then on a sprint. It's just one little pass. Just catch. That was bread and butter. Play one without even calling. How many times up in the place? Guys all know it all. If you have freckles like Darlton, Ralph and I played football together.
Good kid.
I'm trying to remember.
He's the quarterback of our football.
Played JV for the second quarter. 6'4", strong safety, 180 pounds, skinny.
We had a rep sheet. We're building all new system.
I'd like to say, tell you guys, teamwork, great basketball.
How can you have that?
The Italian stallion.
I told you. He didn't miss his layup. Yeah, you didn't miss your layups like usual. It's all right.
You got 7.
No, you didn't. You got more. You got more.
What? I got more.
I'm on an airplane. flying back to California first thing Monday morning. Otherwise,
We'll bump it up earlier for you.
oh, thanks. 2 o'clock? Is that too early for you guys?
In the morning?
I'll do it.
In the morning?
Yeah.
Well, we have Midnight Madness nowadays. You know what that is? We start our first practice of the season at 12:01 a.m. So we were the first team to try that.
Well, the one time when I was at Annapolis, I came home from a game, flew back in, it was about midnight. The coach said, on the lines, take out all your wet, dirty clothes, hop on the line after the game. And
after the game?
After the game, flying in after getting in about midnight.
That's real fun.
His favorite thing was on the clock, 20 minutes, because we played 20-minute halves. And we'd run, start the clock, and we had to be back by 19. So you had 1 minute to run the line, and then you'd go again, run the line. And be back by 18. If you didn't make it, it didn't count. Then you had to run another one at the end. So you had 20 minutes, 20 minutes to run 20 suicides. Clock going until that point was If I was ever coach, I'd be, okay, first practice, 20 minutes on the clock.
I don't know how many of our people would make it. Alex, I don't think you would make it.
We do the same thing.
Coons is very doubtful.
We do the same thing in Italy. Like before the season, or also during the season, we do the same thing. So we run just 20 minutes, or we actually run like something like that to get in shape and stuff. Yeah.
Coach would make us go run out in town, so we run around Annapolis, run out about 3 miles, come back in, get a ball, go down, make a layup, have to come back, make another layup, and then go run another mile. You know, make a layup, come back, make a layup, and then we had an indoor track around our gym. So we have to run a mile at the end of practice. So it's just all about, you know, staying in shape. But those days and being in the Navy, that's what we did.
No, don't stop because of me. You keep talking. You go. Keep on holding court. Keep talking. That's good. You
we have to bump it up to 2 a.m. so we can have him lace him up because he doesn't want to play anything.
Can you play? At noon.
I can shoot the ball, but I can't run or don't have the knees anymore. Otherwise, I'll be standing the whole flight home.
That's all right. You can just come watch.
I haven't played since played good in spots. Senior year is kind of like the brand new coach brought in all his new recruits. He's just playing all the freshmen. So there's 2 seniors left on the team. One was the team captain. I wasn't. I was running like 3 or 4 freshmen and 2 other guys who were like juniors. And we were running against 2 5 playing. Those 5 out. It's just riding was like, okay. My best year was my son. Had a couple good games. One in particular was against Lafayette. Lafayette, known, they always played a 1-3-1 zone. So I was just down on the corner, just had pages sitting down there, just shooting. Just out in the corner, 16 points. But it was easy. That was my best game in Navy. We had a couple good games against George Washington University.
We saw that. UMBC.
Changed up. GW, they had pretty good teams. Had a couple good games against Maryland. It was lost really bad there. We had them, and we were up by about 5 at 1 point. Always sit the good guys down, to bring them to second team. Just never play I'm real proud of you guys, man. Really came out and played well. Played really well as a team. Passed the ball really well. Keep that encouragement up. But I found talking to Dale was on the bench, came in and replaced me a couple of times, Rod, for replacements of how we brought people in while we were playing. And it was just motivation, just keeping each other motivated playing. Guys on the bench moved down to the youngest guy on the team to our trainer coming So when we're down, shots, don't worry about it. Taking a shot. Just get right back in and play harder.
Played very well. Millersburg killed us. And they started playing Valley to overtime. Lost to Valley. They have two 6-7 wins. They're pretty good. Only shot of the game.
Anytime I had a bad game, stepped up. This was like Camp Hill, Steve Roadcap got 29 points. It was just draining them from outside because overtime it just sagged into me and I never touched the ball. I didn't have to.
Yeah.
But every time, Steve just shot, made it.
No wonder he had so many assists if he just threw it to you every time.
No, I mean, if you look at the stats, look at mine and Steve's and look at assists and count the number of assists I have.
I just focus on his because I'm a point guard.
Yeah, but for the year, look at the number of assists.
I look at the book play
as well. Of course, we had pretty good stats.
But you had a couple more rebounds than him. Not too many more. Just a couple. Only a couple hundred each year.
Jers and Boyer and Hirsch.
You're like five years wrestling. Close to the highest last year.
You see like
exactly
at the door.
That's it. That's the maximum. That's not. That's not get any group.
I don't know how much they just in the maximum. If they let you roll into a season or not, start with that.
You have like a quadruple. You have like a quadruple.
Versus a man child.
I think Joel's trying to get back in. He would have let her.
Versus a man child. I was loving when I saw his whole
Every time he touches the ball, foul, so he's going to dunk it, and he goes, "Oh, we have a foul. We also have a technical foul." And he said, "What's this?" So they had to wave off the technical. Everybody was out on the floor trying to explain to him, allowed to dunk the ball this year.
You weren't allowed to dunk before.
No.
That was a big rule. Like,
that was a huge
it
rule
is
change.
terrible if you try to dunk the ball. I couldn't play it.
That's why I don't go. That's why I don't go.
Probably my favorite play was Steve Roadcap, and the year before him in '77, so it was Dwayne Peters who threw it up and we called it alley-oop. Just the lob pass for a dunk.
Kind of like our hook play, but they would dunk it instead of your little
going back door.
Little lazy laying you do.
There's did one reverse. It was Wes Snyder who played, and they have this really tiny little gym. If you ever saw the Likens High School gym, the old Likens High School, I mean, tiny. The old short court regulation. It was one of those courts. Steve was outside. Give me just a little head nod, throws the ball up. I came underneath and just up. Didn't hang on the rim or anything, just enough to just guide it in.
I wish we could watch film. They'll count your film.
Yeah, the film we had back then was this little skinny Super 8 film. Absolutely terrible. The film would last about 1 year. I think we played it about 100 times watching it. Well, guys, I got a long drive yet. I got to go down to Hershey too. Matt? Thank you. Good to meet you. What's your name? Jason. Okay. Take care of Mom.
All right.
Thank you for calling. I lost touch with him after, I went in the working world and he went to pro football and had a lot of success with the Bengals. Boomer Esiason, number 7. He's now a commentator
He's a commentator
for CBS. Or Fox, whichever. CBS. It's one of the two. But know, and he was a nice guy. You know, a lot of them big super. I mean, he was a superstar in his high school. He went down to Maryland, and you know, he became a star. But he's a real great guy, level-headed guy. You know, didn't mind being around him, hanging around the guy. But then my sophomore year, I got moved to defense, and you know, then I kind of hung around the defensive guys. But as a freshman, you know, we didn't play. We had our own freshman games, and I got a chance. He took me home with him. He's from Long Island, so I went and spent a weekend with him and his crazy buddies back, you know, in Long Island, and you know, we had fun that weekend. And you know, yeah. Well, you know what? One thing I do remember it was scary. I'm thankful we're still alive, you know. But I won't share that. Right. It's, you know, things like that. You know, I'm sure you guys will experience the same things. You know, you'll get around guys that are just, you know, you love to compete with them, and you see them compete, and you know, you get to know guys, and you remember him, and you pick up little things from people. You learn something, and even guys that aren't in sports, guys I work with. There's some great guys I work with. And I love my job, and I don't want to leave it because I'd miss those guys. If I retired and did something else, or there's certain guys, you know, they're just fun to be around. And I know you guys eventually experience that, and maybe you're starting to now. But you know, I wish his luck. You know, but
you've been following us in the paper, haven't you?
Oh, of course. And when you get to the playoffs and get to into the districts, I'll be following you down there in Harrisburg. You'll play it probably East or CD or East Pennsboro or one of those schools.
That's where we played last year.
I know. Okay, I'm sorry for bringing that one up. But I'll be following you in Harrisburg. So good luck to you guys. Thanks for all of your attention. You know, to myself and all the other guys. You know, we appreciate you know, your attention and your respect, and return it likewise. So good luck to all of you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yep.
Good luck, guys. Good luck.
Jan said he's flying on us. You guys are aware of his connection with not only being an outstanding basketball player, but an outstanding. Take him through your career after you left Upper Dauphin. What did you do?
Well, I went to college. Went to Mansfield my first year. Did not get any playing time. I wasn't a very good student. I ended up at Hagerstown Junior College. Started getting observed. The Cardinals talked to me at that time. But when I came out of high school, I was maybe 130 pounds dripping wet when I was a senior. So I was maybe 150 by that time. It was my sophomore year. Had a chance to go to Clemson or Virginia. Ended up going to Francis Marion, which is in South Carolina. Again, it was like I was talking to Mr. Gessner here. When I got recruited, it was just certain things that stood out in my mind, and I ended up at Francis Marion. To make a long story short, had 2 good years. Got drafted by the Cubs. Played for 6 years with the Cubs. Got hurt in spring training of '87, '88 with my foot. Didn't know if I could come back. They offered me a coaching position. I stayed in the organization a total of 17 years through 1998. And as you all will know and learn, it's a business. I didn't get along with the boss. I ended up with Seattle. I was over there for 6 years. Got out of it for a year. I have 2 kids. I know Ed saw them today. I got a 12-year-old boy and a 14-year-old daughter. The boy's a pretty good athlete. Stayed home with him for a year. Got back into it with the Phillies with Pat Gillick, who was the general manager in Seattle. He's now with Philly. Again, it's a connection. Ended over with Philly, and now I've been for 3 years with the Phillies. Great organization. I was a Philly fan when I was in y'all's shoes. Grew up a Philly fan, and now I'm able to put on their uniform. So it's a long story short, but you know, I've had 27 years in professional baseball. 27 years. So,
and counting. Still going, right? You're going to still do that?
Yeah.
Taking over for Trojan. Taking over for Trojan.
I go 1 year at a time. I mean, I have 2 kids. One's in high school now and in sports. I've got over 900 wins as a manager in the minor leagues. A very select field with 1,000. I thought about getting 1,000 and see where it takes me. No aspirations to go back to the big leagues. I was there in '86. No aspiration to get there. There's a lot of pressure to win. A lot of pressure to win, and just with some of the other stuff that goes on up there, I'm content with the young guys from 18 to 24. that are naive, willing to work, and I can still kick them in the butt. And money is no issue at that level. In the minor leagues are professional, but still money is no issue. So it's kind of nice to be able to have control of that situation where the big leagues, the players run the show. Minor leagues, I run the show. So, but it's a long story short. But I mean, that's what we're over here reminiscing on some old times and talking about the District 3 championship game, talking about the Northwest game. I was asking him what year the three-point line got put in. He was saying 1987. I didn't realize the District 3 game was, I think, my high point game of the year. I had 21, but what they did was Camp Hill collapsed a 2-3 zone in on Jan and on Mattis. Gave some shots to Otland and myself. It was open all night for me. I ended up with 21. I think we beat Camp Hill pretty easily that night. I'm not really sure. But just a lot of great memories. Some you'll never forget. I'll tell you. Some of you guys are seniors, but times you'll never forget. I mean, now I'm starting to see it with my son. He's 12, who's into every sport that's available, and trying to teach him the game the right way. I was making a comment, I know times have changed from the time I played. I know he played for Coach Foster, I played for Coach Foster. Ball handling skills have changed, but if I threw a ball behind my back as a pass and it went errant, I was sitting on the bench. I know times have changed, but it's the same way with dribbling. And I got to coach my son the last couple of years in All-Stars as a 4th grader and 5th grader. And it was a situation I couldn't coach the ball. Hey. Thanks, guys. Take care of yourself. Nice job sitting there.
Cheers, guys.
Great idea. But ball handling skills is diminishing. And that's what you do a nice job. I was telling you, you do a nice job. Point guards are critical. Oh, yeah. If they don't get the guys the ball down low, they can't score. And I mean, as you'll see, a good pass makes the shot easier by a good pass. If it's a pass down and he's got to bend down, it's harder to come up and shoot. And trying to teach my son how much easier it is to shoot if you get a good pass. On the run where you can get your feet set and so on and so forth. So I was very impressed. Yeah, and that's what we were just talking about that. And I know times have changed, guys, over 30 years. I have a kid. Both of my kids are in sports, and I've made sports my whole life. But today's kids, just what he said there. Every one of us knew our role. We all knew Jan was a center point. We all knew Jan was going to get us 20 plus. We all knew the articles would be on. But you know what? We all played as a team. And the thing that quicker you guys learn your roles, whatever coach gives you a role, just do it to the best of your ability. And because Ed and Rod Kitchen, they alternated starting. He started every game, I started every game. My senior, of course, Jan and Bob. Bob was the muscle. That was one. More important, assists. That was all I care about. I mean, I knew because these guys were getting points, right? I would get the garbage layup and easy layup every now and then, or else the jump shot here and there. But again, we all knew our roles. We had our fun, and there wasn't a whole lot of bickering. From certain guys there were, but we were able to block it out, play the game, and had fun at doing it. I mean, just like Mattis hasn't changed anything. He would still come up with the one-liners. He would come up with this, but he was more quiet. But it was more business. When we got, Gordy would have to lay the law down sometimes. But for the most part, for practice time, it was serious. And I know it's changed too. We'd have a Friday night game, and we might be off the road, late. We'd be back in the gym at 10 o'clock the next morning, playing the alumni and getting our butts whooped by Boss, Robin Straub, Robin Lanker. Gordy's kid would come in, and we would get drunk. And you know what? He was yelling at us. Well, we're tired. But here's the alumni just kicking our tail up and down the court, which just made ourselves better. And I mean, I had to play against a guy by the name of Robin Lanker. And it was quick, and which benefited me a lot. He helped me out a lot by just mentoring me during them Saturday butt whoopings that we would get. We would get him every once in a while because we pressed him and we could run him to death a little bit, but for the most part, you couldn't stop Robin Straub. You know, I know you guys got the three-point line, and Jan might have, I don't even know who has a record, Randy March or whoever, but Robin Straub's got, I don't know how many points, but you can add another 500 points if he would have had the three-point line. So this guy was probably the best shooter that I've seen. There was no quit. He got kicked out. He might have been down like 10. Professional, good club, physical. We didn't quit. Who the hell are these guys? And we only got beat by 4. We could have easily got beat by 4. They worked the ball. They spread us out. They got ahead. They went forward. We played chase all night.
They had 3 guys that shoot guys.
One guy was a carry. They said, enjoy your time.
You know, we said about, we didn't quit. It wasn't just games. Practice. Coach Foster wrote us if we started moving around. He was on us, but if we listened to that, we were the champions song.